Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending the official kickoff press conference for the 84th Capital One Orange Bowl. This year's game, December 30th at Hard Rock Stadium and televised by ESPN at 8 o'clock. We're pleased to welcome two great programs, the University of Wisconsin from the Big Ten Conference and the University of Miami from the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're thrilled to have the respective Coach of the Years from their conferences, Paul Chryst from Wisconsin and Mark Richt from Miami. We'd like to thank our partners, the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, for their hospitality and hosting this afternoon and this evening's events for the 13th consecutive year. At this time, I'd like to present Augie Cipollini, president of Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, for some remarks.
Thank you, Larry, and good afternoon, everyone. On this really great sunny Florida day. Can't beat a sunny day in Florida. It's been a year for me. Welcome to Seminole Hard Rock Hollywood. This facility here is hosting the 2017 Capital One Orange Bowl Coaches Press Conference once again. We've been doing this for several years, and we're certainly proud to do it. We're welcoming two great institutions this year, the University of Wisconsin and the University of Miami. So for both the coaches who we're welcoming, Coach Chryst and Coach Richt, certainly good luck to both of you. We should look for a very outstanding game on December 30th. We all look forward to it, and good luck to both of you, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Augie. And at this time, I'd like to present the president of the Orange Bowl Committee, Mr. Don Slesnick, for some remarks.
What a beautiful South Florida afternoon, and what a great day for the Orange Bowl. You know, as president this year, every day has been a great day, but this is a particularly special one for all of us to kick off our bowl season. It's been a busy year, but this is the heart of our year around the bowl season. And how thrilled we are to have Coach Chryst and the Wisconsin Badgers coming down to be with us this year. And, of course, Coach Rick and our Miami Hurricanes. What better thing could you ask for than a classic, wonderful, historic Big Ten team versus our own hometown team? We are delighted, as you can tell I am, and I know that all of our members are. Speaking of the Orange Bowl, this is an 84-year bowl. We're the second oldest bowl in the United States, and we have great traditions. We're proud of our tradition. We're proud of our community. We're proud of the bowl game and the teams that participate in it. And we expect that this is going to be one of those other great games that highlight South Florida, that highlight college football and the programs that are involved, and the two conferences that are involved. But besides the Orange Bowl game, we have a number of other things that we do, and we'll take this opportunity just to remind you of those, because I think the coaches would like to know what some of the money that the Orange Bowl accumulates from these games not only goes back to the conferences and into college football and the NCAA, but also helps this community and helps young people in this community, people that are aspiring to be young college football players, because we have a program that works with 15,000 South Florida youth in our Football Alliance program. And I wanted to stress to you that we spend a good bit of money on this program, I think $17 million over the last 15 years. And coaches, what I wanted to assure you is that we just don't throw money out for young people to play football. Our money has been going to programs to teach the coaches about good tackling procedures, concussion protocols, and trying to keep young people safe while they're out there and having them ready to play college ball one day. And we also have scholarship programs. We've had scholarship programs that now have blossomed into a football showcase. And each year now, starting with this past year, we invite young people who didn't make Division I to come out for a one-day showcase. It's like a combine. And we had 43 small universities, Division I, Division II, they may not be too small, playing football that are looking for young people that can play and that are academically qualified. And we've now been told that as of this fall, from that one-day combine, $1.7 million has gone into scholarships for these people to play football at that level. And they may someday then progress to Division I before they are graduated. This fall, we opened up our latest legacy project, was this Harris Field in Homestead. We've gone in with about $10 million in the last 6 years to rehabilitate and refurbish 4 public parks where governments could not have the ability to financially to pick them up, keep them up, and to turn them into the spectacular parks that they are now, with brand new fields, new grandstands, new bathrooms, new scoreboards. So that is something we give back to this community, and that's something that these two teams will help us in the future to give back to the community. And with that, I'd like to again thank Augie Cipollini for supplying this incredible South Florida venue. I asked Coach Chryst if this reminded him of Wisconsin. He said, not quite, but it certainly had a nice atmosphere to it. And I know that Coach Richt is now back home in South Florida, so he's used to this. But with that, welcome, Coach Richt. Welcome, Coach Chryst. And we look forward to seeing you in the great Hard Rock Stadium on December 30th, Saturday night. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Also like to introduce Eric Palms, the CEO of the Orange Bowl. He's here in attendance at the other end of the dais, and he will be available for questions following the coaches. We have two hard-hitting, opportunistic teams with two of the best defenses in America. Number 6 ranked Wisconsin has finished in the top 2 in 5 different defensive categories, including leading the nation in total defense and second in scoring defense, while Miami led the nation in sacks per game and turnover margin. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our coaches for some opening remarks, and then we'll open it up for questions. First, for the Wisconsin Badgers of the Big Ten, designated the visiting team, Coach Paul Chryst.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be here, Eric. Thanks for inviting us, Don, and the board, and all the members that came up to Madison and crashed my wife's suite and braved the cold. Appreciate it. And it was. I'm really thankful for our team and what they've done, and really giving us the opportunity to play in this game. Obviously against a great Miami football team, but to be able to participate in an iconic bowl game. I'm proud of this group, and it's the first team that's ever earned the right to be able to play in the Orange Bowl. And our kids are excited about the opportunity to come down here, and I'm just, as a coach, appreciative of what that group has done to get us here and to, for at least a week, get us out of the cold. But it's appreciate that, Augie. Thanks for having us here, and we're certainly excited and appreciative of the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Chryst. We'll be back with some questions in a moment. But first, for Miami out of the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is designated as the home team, the Atlantic Coast Conference is the host conference, and the home team comes from the ACC, Coach Mark Richt, who yesterday was named Walter Camp National Coach of the Year.
All right. Well, we are thankful as well, I can promise you, to be playing in this bowl. I know our players certainly were disappointed at the outcome of the last couple games, and certainly was painful. But when all the dust settled and we end up in the Orange Bowl, that's about as good as it gets. And I know that our kids live here on a yearly basis. Some of them have grown up here in this area. But I know the Orange Bowl's got some wonderful things planned for us. We get a chance to do some things that maybe we haven't done before. And I know we're going to be staying at a beautiful spot. And we just appreciate everything the committee has put together for us. And we're looking forward to playing a great football team in Wisconsin. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Richt. Miami is making its 10th appearance in the Orange Bowl. Wisconsin has never been here before. And at this time, I'd like to open it up for questions. Coaches, you can stay at your seat and use the microphone in front of you. Please raise your hand for questions and identify yourself when we bring the microphone around. Thank you. Questions? Mike.
Mike DePasquale with the Fox affiliate of Miami. Coach Richt, nice to see you. Coach Chryst, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Coach Richt, what happens between now and the game?
Right.
I
Sure.
was there in Charlotte, and it was most people will say an ugly game, but a sour
Yes.
taste. What do you do to prepare your kids now?
Well, the first thing is just get away from everything. We went 11 weeks straight after the hurricane, and it was quite a grind for everybody. And so I think it's just good to get away from the game for a minute. And quite frankly, they got to work hard at academics to finish up this semester. It's a big recruiting time for us. And even the week prior to the ACC championship game, it was a time we could be on the road. and everybody in America was on the road, but we were preparing for the game, so we kind of lost that week. So the coaches are taking this week, next week, really every minute of the day to be on the road recruiting. I know Coach Chryst and I both have been recruiting this morning. We're going to have home visits tonight. That's what we do this time of year. And, our strength staff is getting the kids and getting them running and lifting, and anybody who needs any treatments getting treatment. So, I think it's just a time to get the kids rested mentally, physically, spiritually, and maybe even get a little strength back when you're not pounding during this time frame. And then not this weekend, but after next weekend, which is a monster recruiting weekend for us, then there's a dead period in recruiting, and that's the time we'll focus mostly on our bowl practices. And a lot of people have different philosophy on bowl practice. For us, everything's geared towards trying to win the game. There's a lot of teams that try to turn it into spring ball a little bit, but we quite frankly don't have enough guys to have spring ball anyway. Most of our young guys are playing and getting some work in. So even though we're allowed to have more, we only have, I think, about 71 on scholarship right now. So we don't have enough guys to have a spring ball type situation. But we will gear up and get ready to go for the game.
Questions? Susan?
I guess this is for both coaches. How important is it to end the season with a victory as far as maybe having a bearing on 2018, if it does at all? And then I had another part too. But
yeah, Paul, why don't you take that?
Well, I think it's certainly what every team that plays in a bowl game wants to do. And yet I look at it as it's the last game of this season. It's the last time that this team will be together. And certainly, there's a competitive part of everyone that plays and coaches that you want to win it. But I think it's a separate year. I think it's the end of this season, and I'm awfully thankful for what this team has done throughout the course of the year, and quite honestly, have earned the right to get to play in this game against Miami, a team that we know is a heck of a football team. And so I think it's all about this year, is my point. Yeah. And certainly there's momentum in anything that you do positively. You'd like to carry it forward. But to me, it's all about this year, and every team wants to do it. And now you've got to go out and you get the opportunity to try to win.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I mean, it's certainly the focus. I mean, just talking about how we practice, the focus is trying to win this game for this season, for this group of seniors. And it's a culmination of all the work we put together from way back in January last year, all the off-season stuff and everything in between. So that's the main focus. And, I think that people who vote on preseason polls and things of that nature, they usually do take into account what happened in the bowl game, whether it's right or wrong. You got to vote based on something, and so I think it's important to win. And the older you get as a coach, the more you. I mean, I love going to bowls like this, no doubt about it. But you kind of grade them on whether you won or lost. If you won, it was a good bowl. If you lost, it was a bad bowl. So, but I know our players are enjoy the reward, and our wives and children will too.
And the other part of that question was, both of your teams are similar in that, Miami won 10 straight before they lost, and you guys won 12. It was such a great season, right? And then you lose. How do you get the kids over that and looking forward?
That's the first time I've ever heard that Wisconsin's a lot like Miami. It's quite honestly, they have done that, and each week's its own week, and you appreciate it. And I know our team was excited, about this opportunity. I think that's what being able to participate in the Orange Bowl against Miami, it's a heck of an opportunity, and our kids get excited about it. And absolutely, Mark said it earlier, there's disappointment because when you put it all out there and it doesn't go your way, there's disappointment. But this group is certainly excited and appreciative of this opportunity, and we want to maximize it, and that's being the best team we can be against a really good team.
Well, we were winning a lot, like you said, 10 in a row, actually 15 in a row. So we went a whole year and didn't lose a game, calendar year, and it had been a while since we lost, and the Pitt game certainly was highly disappointing, but you knew you didn't have time to fret. You had to get ready for the next one, and that's what we did. And now that we lost the 2 in a row, we don't want to feel that way again. And I think the most fun and one of the most fun things in college football is the celebration with the team after a great victory. And some of the hardest things is, being able to look everybody in the eye when it's over and realize we couldn't get it done. But the one thing about our team is we've done it all together. We have great staff unity. We've got great player unity, and there's a great trust factor with everybody. And I'll watch interviews of our players after games and things of that nature. And when you listen to Shaq talk and some of the other guys talk, they just did an awesome job of putting things into perspective. And now it's time to turn the page and get after a really good team.
Wes Lammy, Worldwide West. Mark, obviously with the last 2 losses, can you add on in terms of the preparation to keep this team motivated, especially with all the attention that was garnered in the college football playoffs with the team?
Oh, we're not going to have a problem with motivation. Our guys love to play football. They love to compete. And when you're playing a team that's one of the best in America, playing a top 10 team, you're playing a team that's one of the greatest defenses in the country. And, and also, I say it all the time, and it's so true. All you got to do is turn on the tape. You turn on the tape, you start watching film, and everybody knows we're in for a battle. And that motivates people. It motivates coaches. It motivates me. We had a little 45-minute dead period in between recruiting and got on our iPad and started looking at tape, immediately just to see what we were up against. And, it'll keep us up at night, trying to figure out a way to get some things going. But our juices will flow in a positive way. These guys love to compete. I'm not worried about that.
Greg?
Craig Davis, South Florida Sun Sentinel. Mark, on the topic of recruiting, are you getting a sense that the success the team had this year is helping you get your message across and that? And along with that, I believe you just got a commitment from a pretty top quarterback.
Right,
can you
which I'm not allowed to talk about at this point. But,
but just the other.
I heard something good happen. Even before the season started, our recruiting was going well. I think what happened a year ago at least gave coaches and players confidence that we were moving in the right direction. And we did a good job of, evaluating and getting our offers out and recruiting the heck out of these guys and got a lot of commitments even before the season started. And I knew, as a head coach that we had to show enough on the field throughout the season to keep their confidence in us as a staff and in us as a program. And so I think we accomplished that. I think all of our guys that have been committed are still very excited about being Hurricanes. Excuse me.
Jeff Snook. Mark, Miami faces a situation in the Orange Bowl I think only USC faces in the Rose Bowl, but being so close to home through the whole month, prepping for the game, but I know you're in a hotel. What are the advantages of being here? And there's got to be some disadvantages as well, family, friends, so forth.
Well, I think that, again, there are so many things to do in Miami. I doubt our guys have done everything there is to do in Miami, and I doubt that I'm sure when we do some of the events that the Bowl puts together for us, it'll be some things that our guys will really enjoy. The other thing is when your student body is gone off your campus, you're allowed to do some things with your team, whether it's go to a famous restaurant or go to a park or, go do something, go to Miami Heat basketball game or whatever it is. I mean, there's things we're allowed to do with these guys, and they enjoy that. And, I don't know if there's a disadvantage because, we are going to pack up and move. We're going to be at a beautiful hotel on the beach. I don't think any of our guys live on the beach, so I think they'll like that. I know I'm going to like it. Our coaches and their wives are going to enjoy it. And then, we'll be practicing at a different site. I think we're at Nova University. And, so it'll feel like a bowl. I mean, we're going to pack everything up and go. The trip will be shorter. Well, the Orange Bowl does that. The Orange Bowl does special things for us. Rules-wise, no. Like stay out all night and act like an idiot? Or no. Well, our guys live here. They're any given Thursday, Friday, not Friday night in season, but really, if they want to go out and do something dumb, they could do that just about any day of the week. So it won't be like all of a sudden we're in Miami and everybody's going to start acting silly. I'm not going to say we won't have some issues because that's just 18 to 22-year-old guys tend to do some silly things, but I don't have any more fear today than I have any other day.